Today's the day.
Hello colleagues, friends, folks and fellows. Welcome to my masterclass lesson today. But before we start, first let me say thank you to all the brilliant video presentations we have seen so far. Great job from the colleagues and well-deserved congratulations. So, what I'm going to talk about in my masterclass lesson today.
What about the history of German sausage? Probably not. What about the European Fauna and Flora Habitat Directive? Probably not either. What about Indian Kama Sutra?
Sorry guys, not at all. Although I know you would have loved to see that one. Just subscribe to my channel below. So, today we have a masterclass on So, let's see how we get from a sound, tone, instrument to a final music clip. But first, let's see the basics of waves, sound and tones.
Almost every day we have the sensory experience of sound and music. As humans have eyes for the detection of light, color and for instance mechanical waves, we are also equipped with ears for the detection of sound. You all may have seen water waves when you drop a pebble stone into water. Sound waves are quite similar, but we can't see them. Sound is a wave that is created by vibration objects and spread through a medium, usually air, from one location to another. For instance, from a tuning fork to our ear. A wave is basically characterized by its shape, amplitude and wavelength. The wavelength also gets us to the frequency of a tone given by the unit hertz. 1 vibration per second equals 1 hertz. In analog music, we usually talk about sine waves, whereas digital instruments are also using different waveforms like square, triangle or sawtooth. I'm going to show you that later in a practical session. So now let's see the relationship between amplitude and wavelength. Amplitude is characterizing the volume of the tone, so as higher the amplitude, the louder the tone or the sound. On the other side, low amplitude is resulting in a quiet tone. Similar with the frequency, as higher the frequency, as higher the tone, and a low frequency is resulting in a deep tone. Here you see a noise, for instance. Noise is also a sound which is characterized by different frequencies and amplitudes. So now we got some basics to understand the physics behind waves and sound. But now let's get to the instruments and how these are generating a sound. In principle, we can see 5 types of instruments. So we got aerophones, Aerophones are instruments like a flute, trumpet or horn which produce sound primarily by causing a body or reed of air to vibrate. So let's go to the membranophones. Membranophones, like a drum or timpani, are having a drum head which is vibrating on top of the resonance chamber, generating a tone. Next are the codophones. Chordophones, like a guitar, bass, violin or piano, are having strings. The vibration of the string is producing a sound in the resonance chamber or sound box of the instrument. Last but not least, we have the idiophones.
Idiophones are instruments which make sound from the material of the instrument itself. So they are not using reeds, strings or resonators. And finally we have the electrophones. These are digital instruments generating a sound or a tone electronically. I'm going to show you that one in a minute. But first let me say thanks to my sons Jan Philipp and Alexander supporting my masterclass lesson today. So colleagues, watch out, it's getting loud. do we have here? This is a music studio. Yes, 9 centimeter wall isolation and a special floor, a floating floor with acoustic carpet. Over there you will see the screen of the digital audio workstation. We also got amplifiers, a couple of them. So on the right hand side you see a 16 channel amplifier. For sure we also got speakers. We got monitor speakers for the digital audio workstation, and we got some speakers to play back. Some passive speakers as well as active speakers from DB technology and a 15-inch subwoofer. We also got instruments over there. This is a virtual analog synthesizer, a Roland Gaia, excellent instrument. And we also got a keyboard, Yamaha, as well as an electronic guitar, a Gibson Les Strato. But let's go back to the digital audio workstation to show you some other stuff. This is a launchpad which we are using to create scenes and files. And here is a small keyboard to be used for creating MIDI clips. So you remember, I would have to show you the electrophone, a digital instrument generating the sounds electronically. And I would like to show you a live example of sinus wave and amplitude and frequency. So let's get an example of a tone and see the frequency and the amplitude. This is a typical sine wave, right? I just play you the tone A, then you see what's going to happen. This is the A. You see the frequency of 440 Hz on the upper screen, and you see the waveform on the lower screen. I'm going to change now the frequency of the tone. So the frequency goes higher, the tone will be higher. And the other way around, the same. What's going to happen if we increase the amplitude? The tone gets loud and the tone gets silent. Now it's time for integrating our instruments into the digital audio workstation. First, let's take a drum kit to get a sound and a beat. So we implement the drum kit, a 808, very nice kit, into our digital audio workstation. Next, we are going to import a drum beat which was recorded by my son Jan Philipp over there on the drums. So let's take a clip which was recorded and we are going to implement that one in the drum kit now. Here it is, you see the drum pattern here, so that's the drum pattern, how it looks like, and let's see how it's going to sound. Sounds good, isn't it? So next, let's integrate a bass line. Let's play a bass. Now we got the bass line, now we have to quantize that one and get a loop out of it. So let's mark the tones, quantize them, and finally duplicate them. So then we have a bass line which is a brilliant sound. We can also add the drum now. Yeah, sounds not that bad. Next instrument we are going to implement is a piano. The piano chords are played by my son Alexander. Next, we are going to integrate a guitar. I show you how this is going to happen. Let's get to the instrument rack and pick up a guitar. Electric guitar, we just take clean coils, that sounds always quite good. get that one into our digital audio workstation. And now let's play some chords. So let's increase the beat rate, because I was playing the guitar with 60 beats per minute, but we have to go to 120. So that's quite simple. I just changed that in the software, and then we order there with a 120 beats per minute guitar sound. This sounds much better. Now we adjusted some auto filter and some ping pong delay for the guitar. Let's see how it sounds now. Yeah, we can live with that one. Perfect. Now we got a drum beat, we got a bass line, we got some synthesizer chords, we got a guitar, and now it's time to play some piano melody. Again done by my son Alexander. Now we got all our instruments into our digital audio workstation. Let's optimize the sound and the characteristics now. Perfect. Last step what we have to do now is we are going to mix all the instruments and export the final result to a media file. Finally, we got all our instruments into the audio workstation and have created a session view, which you will see here. Now I'm changing to the so-called arrangement view, and I'm going to start the recording right now. Dear colleagues, now we recorded our media file, which I'm going to upload to YouTube. Thank you for joining my masterclass lesson.
Today's a day.